Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to talk today about the 518 uprising or the Gwangju Massacre that happened on May 18th, 1980. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that it is the 37th anniversary of the Gwangju Massacre, at least in South Korea, because it is May 18th on Korea time. We have about, it's not quite U.S. Central Time, it's not quite May 18th yet, but will be soon. But what I was going to say is the Gwangju Massacre was a pivoting point to help bring permanent democracy to South Korea. As I've said before, there were democratic elections in South Korea beforehand, particularly in 1963 under U.S. pressure. Park Chung-hee held a democratic election and he won with less than 1% of the vote, but he won the election. But then after that, there were a lot of rigged elections, and I liked Park Chung-hee's economic policies, but in 1971, he sent a lot of cash to peasants and basically bribed the peasant vote. That's how he got elected over Kim Dae-jung. But this is not talking about that. Other than in 1980, the Chun Doo-won basically was president. He was head of the Korean CIA, head of the Anti-Communist League, and Chae Kyu-ha was president, but he was president in name only. Okay, Chae Kyu-ha was basically Chun Doo-won's puppet, and Chun Doo-won basically ordered the two South Korean airborne divisions to go in to Gwangju. And in Gwangju, the students were protesting the closing of Cheonam National University. Chun Doo-won ordered the closings of universities because the professors were speaking out against them. And under the Park Chung-hee era, the Jeju Island was not under martial law, but Chun Doo-won put Jeju Island under martial law during his reign. Also, you could speak out against Park Chung-hee in the classroom. You couldn't do it publicly. You could in the privacy of your own home, though. But when Chun Doo-won came to power, that had stopped, and that's why he ordered the closings of the universities. And when the soldiers came to close Cheonam National University, the students had protested, and evidence was the soldiers charged the students, but at the same time, the students were protesting an unlawful order, and they were protesting something that was undemocratic and basically unconstitutional. And the students threw rocks, and it was just a conflict. And the students and the protesters eventually drove the soldiers back, but the soldiers came back in and killed many of the students and many of the demonstrators. But one of the head demonstrators was Yoon Sang-won, and Yoon Sang-won said, "We will be defeated today." This was around May 27th. He said, "We will be defeated today, but history will lead us to victory." And that's what happened. History led the democratic protesters to victory, because in 1987, Korea had a democratic election where No Tae-woo was elected president. And then 5 years later, Kim Yong-sam was elected as a civilian president. No Tae-woo was elected president, but he was a soldier in the military before he became president and while he was president. But when Kim Yong-sam became to be president, he was a civilian who was elected as president. And it was a continuation after that. In 1997, Kim Dae-jung was elected president, and during Kim Dae-jung's presidency, the 518 Memorial Cemetery in Gwangju, and it's an excellent place, it's a beautiful place, and I recommend that people go there, and you really feel like the students and all the demonstrators, that their spirit's there, because it's just that well cultivated, and they preserve the artifacts very well. But Kim Dae-jung helped make the Memorial Cemetery what it is today, and he helped make it a national monument and a national treasure, basically. So there's a lot to disagree with Kim Dae-jung on, but I agree that he did the right thing on this. And it also took a lot of guts that he pardoned No Tae-woo and Chun Doo-won in the name of national reconciliation. He pardoned them for any role that they played in the Gwangju Massacre, which both of them did. Both of them played roles in the Gwangju massacres, and the soldiers overreacted. There was excess force that was used. I highly support the South Korean military, but every military at times do things they're not proud of, and this was one of the incidents. And the soldiers overreacted, and they pummeled and beat people who weren't even demonstrating Kim Kyung-chul, who was the first victim of the Gwangju massacre, he was just watching the situation. He wasn't demonstrating, and the soldiers basically bayoneted him to death. And he is buried in the 518 Memorial Cemetery in Gwangju. You can see his grave. And he was a Christian, so I firmly believe he's in heaven with Jesus right now. So, anyways, hope everyone's doing well. And please remember the Gwangju massacre on its 37th anniversary. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care. God bless, and bye-bye. Bye-bye.